I will give him initiation. He likes to hear. He does not go away. So it was there at Prayag that Srila Prabhupada received both first and second initiations from his Guru Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada lived in Prayag for, I think, 11 or 12 years. Then moved to Mumbai and helped to start a center for his Guru Maharaj there. How many Magh Melas and Kumbh Melas did Srila Prabhupada attend? Prayag was the place Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 days. And it was from Prayag that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami to go to Vrindavan and compile these great literatures, excavate the holy places, and be the example that will be the very foundation of our whole sampradaya. So this year was a Mahakumbha Mela, and I was told how many people came this year. The day I arrived there, on Mona Amavasya, the government statistic was on that day, 90 million people came. How many people live in the UK? Does anyone know? 75 million people live in UK. On this one day, 90 million people came to bathe in the same confluence between Yamuna, Ganga, Saraswati. And you may think it's an exaggeration, but I was there. And by my own observation and experience, was not an exaggeration. You could see it, you could feel it. And during the month of the Kumbh Mela, I believe there was about 200 to 300 million people came. And of course, the nectar from the churning of the ocean of milk especially emerges at the time of these Mahakumbha Mela. But even more than that, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of the ocean of bhakti, of love for Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested that and empowered Rupa Goswami to give it to the whole world. Such a place of nectar. The confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. The confluence of Lord Chaitanya and Rupa Goswami giving the instructions, which is the basis of our whole sampradaya. At that same time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Sripad Vallabhacharya. Two of the greatest Vaishnava sampradayas were coming together at that place. Lord Ramchandra, he bathed there and called it Prayagraj, the king of all holy, Tirtharaj, he called it, the king of all holy places. But as far as nectar emerging, what's even sweeter for us is that's the place that our beloved Srila Prabhupada took initiation and met with his Guru Maharaj. Such a confluence. And it was based on that confluence that Krishna consciousness flooded to the world. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami tells that previously in Prayag, Ganga and Yamuna and Saraswati never flooded the city. But when Lord Chaitanya came to me and was performing Harinam Sankirtan, Rupa Goswami came at that time to meet him, and he witnessed that the whole Prayag was completely flooded with ecstatic love for Krishna through the flood of Harinam Sankirtan. And our beloved Srila Prabhupada, his mission was to flood it throughout the world, flood the world with this. During Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in Jagannath Puri, there was the Rath Yatra. And after Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra were placed in the Gundicha temple, Lord Chaitanya and his associates, I believe it was 9 days, they were performing kirtan in the different places around Gundicha and having darshans there. And close by there is Indrajumana Sarovar, wonderful lake. And in that lake, devotees were so overwhelmed with the sweetness of loving relationship invoked through kirtan that they were playing like children and splashing each other. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes various devotees who were teamed against each other to splash. And one was Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Lord Chaitanya told Gopinath Acharya, you should tell them that they have Ramananda Rai was a governor of an entire state. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the very senior elderly scholar of all scholars. Tell them they are very grave, elevated personalities. Why are they playing like children? Laughing and splashing. He was enjoying seeing these Vaishnava relationships among all the devotees. And at that moment, Advaitacharya, how grave is he? He was like Lord Chaitanya's grandfather in age. Advaitacharya laid in Indrajumana Sarovar on his back and floated in the water. And actually took the mood of Anantashesha. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily made Advaitacharya his bed. He laid on his body and floated in the water. Is there any questions? Rupa Vilas Prabhu, would you like to share anything? Yes, please. I'm just trying to be a servant of a servant of a servant of the leaders here at Bhaktivedanta Manor. So please discuss with my masters. Maharaj, would you like to speak something? Is there a microphone for Maharaj?
Thank you, Maharaj, for such a wonderful class. And I found it very interesting, Maharaj, how you centered so much of your class around Nityananda Prabhu, Mahavishnu, and how he embodies this mood of deep compassion and kindness and generosity. Maharaj, could you share with us something about how the tendency in our life is to always be very absorbed in ourselves, our plans, our problems, and how do we really develop this mood that Nityananda Prabhu has of really being able to go beyond our own lives and deeply think about others, not just because it's a duty, not just because it's a service, but because we deeply feel the pain of others, like you were mentioning, paradukkha dukhi. So this deep spirit of Nityananda Prabhu, of compassion and generosity, could you share with us how that can manifest in a very real way in our lives?
Maharaj, you know better than me. Hearing from our holy scriptures, from the mouths of those devotees who are sincerely capturing this essence of Krishna's service. Within Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many examples. Practically every pastime has these stories of people who are striving for and living by pure devotional service. Ahoitaki apratihata. And Mahajano yenagata sapanta. The path of perfection is to follow in the footsteps of those souls. By hearing about them, we're actually living with them. Transcendental sound vibration when we hear of Krishna's associates, the acharyas of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. We are actually in the presence. Hearing is very important. When Srila Prabhupada emphasized the importance of regularly reading his books and discussing these subjects, it wasn't just to learn how to be scholars. If we could do that, that's wonderful. We could serve with that. But most importantly, the knowledge, the values, the inspiration for pure unalloyed devotion comes when we are in the association of people who have those values. By associating with advanced devotees who are sincerely aspiring to make advancement, and to hear the glories of devotional service in that association. That becomes our goal. That becomes the most important thing in our life. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say that devotees, even where they are today, they are beyond liberation. Now, mukti is a very, we may philosophically minimize it compared to bhakti. But what is mukti? To be liberated from all the mind and the senses and the ego, and to enter into Krishna's own bodily rays, the Brahma Jyoti. It's not just peace. When we talk about peace in this world, it means somehow or other we're relaxed. Our hearts are content, and we're not fighting or disturbed. And in this world, that's really a lot. People, even after striving and being victorious and successful and triumphant, they just want some peace because it's so disturbing. But what is the peace of Brahmananda? But yet, the happiness of that is not even a drop compared to the ocean of the happiness in feeling the love of the personality of Godhead Krishna, of experiencing Krishna's all-attractive form and qualities, and of giving our entire soul's energy for the pleasure of Krishna. So actually, a person who is in that state of mukti is in a condition of just that peace of existing in the rays of Krishna's body. There's not the desire for unalloyed, pure devotional service. But each and every one of us, even in our conditioned state, where we have to suffer bodily pains and we have to suffer mental pains, and there's so many betrayals and so many disappointments, and we're thinking, how is this beyond liberation? Did you ever think that way? How is my condition beyond liberation? It actually is beyond liberation, because this is our goal is Ahoitaki Apratihata Bhakti, unmotivated, unconditional love for Krishna. Following in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan really begins by everything belongs to Krishna. I belong to Krishna, and everything is for Krishna's service. Srila Prabhupada would describe when the gopis would decorate themselves because Krishna will enjoy. The gopis would be happy because that made Krishna happy. Everything was for Krishna. Little Prahlad Maharaj, even when he was being thrown into pits of snakes and all the other tortures he was subject to, he was always remembering Krishna in a way, Krishna, how can I serve you? So through these Vaishnava literatures coming through the parampara of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this verse, Natanamna janamna sundarim kavitam vajagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmani shuri bhavatad bhakti rohaita kitve. It's to recite and offer this prayer with a sincere heart is actually to aspire for that which is beyond liberation. I do not want wealth, sensual pleasures, fame, scholarship, supernatural powers. I do not even want liberation from suffering. I just want to serve you, my Lord, birth after birth, unconditionally. To have that aspiration and the Paramatma Krishna in our heart is actually reciprocating with our aspirations and the character of the life in which we are aspiring for that aspiration, even with our shortcomings. Krishna is more pleased even with a sincere, stumbling devotee who's striving to be the servant of those who love Krishna, more than the greatest, most self-controlled yogis. So yeah, just desiring that pure devotion is beyond liberation. Because in liberation, you don't aspire for that. And in the path to liberation, you don't aspire to it. So even in our beginning stages, if we sincerely adhere to this value, it's such a rare, invaluable treasure that we've received and that we have. So by hearing the glories of pure devotional service and trying to serve those who are aspiring or who have achieved the values of pure devotional service, through our sadhana, through our lifestyle, through our prayer, through our smaranam, our shravana, that's how even in this world of trouble and challenge, we actually can realize the repeated message of our acharyas in our scriptures is no one can attain pure devotional service. When Krishna's pleased, he gives it. So our goal in life is simply to please Krishna, and then whenever he so wishes, he will give. Let me just live to please Krishna in whatever circumstance may be. In life and death, let me just try to please Krishna. Does that address your question? As I said, you know better than me. Is there any ladies have question?
Sorry, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for coming and sharing the wisdom with us. Thank you so much. Sometimes we unknowingly commit Vaishnava aparadh and we start losing the taste for bhakti, and we don't really realize whom we've offended. How do we rectify that?
If we unknowingly perform Vaishnava aparadh, Krishna will easily forgive us. But when we knowingly commit Vaishnava aparadh, then it becomes very serious. Vaishnava aparadh is very much detrimental to our spiritual progress when it's caused by envy, arrogance, when it's through our words or our actions we're actually trying to hurt a devotee, to cause pain to a devotee, or to belittle a devotee. And so if you accidentally touch a devotee with your feet, you just, when you recognize you've done it, you accept forgiveness. But the process of Vaishnava aparadh is to understand really how there's nothing that pains Krishna more than Vaishnava aparadh. There's nothing that gives more happiness to Krishna than honoring his devotees. And there's nothing that gives him more pain than offending his devotees, hurting his devotees. And our whole life, 100% of all spiritual advancement is based on one thing: how we please Krishna. All the external achievements, all of the external aspirations we have, their value is only to the extent that they please Krishna. Samsiddhi Haritosha. So if we knowingly understand we've offended Vaishnava, we should sincerely ask forgiveness. And we should sincerely learn a lesson not to do that. And we should sincerely take shelter not only of the mercy of those devotees, but also of the holy names of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke. It is in Chaitanya Bhagavat that when your mouth tastes the name of Krishna, it's like drinking nectar. And when the same mouth offends a devotee, criticizes a devotee, and Lord Chaitanya actually says criticizes anyone with bad intent. He said it's like drinking poison. So we should very intentionally not take that poison. And instead we should speak the glories of those who Krishna loves, his devotees. And we should chant his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And in this context of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, anyone who follows this simple teaching, I will bring them back home, back to God. Srila Prabhupada signed every letter, your ever well-wisher. What does it mean to be a servant of Srila Prabhupada, or a servant of Srila Prabhupada? In a very simple way, it means to assist Srila Prabhupada in being everyone's well-wisher. Does that answer your question? Yes.
Maharaj, on those lines, if we are in a setting of a family, how do we understand the situation where our parents are devotees, children are devotees, and it's on daily basis? There are times when we are committing offenses, but then how do we understand?
In many ways, bhakti is easier as a brahmacharya or sannyasi. But our intent and our austerity should be to keep Krishna in the center in our families. And to try to forgive each other and elevate each other. And ultimately to help each other to be happy in Krishna consciousness. That's how we make spiritual advancement in Grihastha ashram. Help each other to get a taste for Vaishnava association, Vaishnava seva, hearing about Krishna and chanting Krishna's name. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki jai.